Today I'm working with you in the world of BYCON floor grinding machines, also known as floor scarifiers or concrete grinders. I've got the three BYCON models here. All these machines are especially suitable for the prep work you need to do when you want to give a floor a new layer. For example, removing markings, paint residues, glue residues, or old coatings. What you can actually do with it really depends on which tool you attach to the bottom of the machine. And that's what we're going to look at today using the DFG-250E. The smaller model, suitable for small to medium-sized spaces, up to about 150 to 200 square meters. Of course, it's up to you how much time you want to invest in something. But if you often find yourself at that upper limit, it might be worth considering a larger machine. But this machine definitely has a number of advantages. It's still fairly portable. And of course, it's also a bit easier to maneuver. Another big advantage is that this machine, combined with the IVC 1000, the vacuum cleaner we'll be using in a moment, gives you a total power output of 2,400 watts plus 1,200 watts. And you can just about use that on a single circuit. If you move up to a larger machine, you'll also need a bigger vacuum cleaner to go with it. And in many cases, you'll then have to draw power from different sources. Besides that, all BYCON machines are, of course, relatively affordable, but especially this combination of the DFG-250E and that vacuum cleaner, the IVC 1000, we've been able to make extremely accessible in the market. The BYCON can be used both wet and dry. If you're preparing the floor for a new top layer, then of course you don't want to introduce any moisture, so you work dry using diamond discs or PKD discs, 250 millimeters. But if you want to use the machine for polishing, then chances are you'll do that wet using this adapter plate, the Velcro shoes with their tapered connection. You slide them in, and then you can stick these polishing pads onto them. A maximum of 3 per slide. Of course, you can adjust the handle to a working position that's comfortable for you. Or you can fold it in completely, and then it takes up less space during transport. In a moment, I'm going to sand this floor with this slide. And then it's convenient if the machine can tilt as far back as possible. I do that by setting the wheels as low as possible and folding the handle far forward. So this is the plate for the polishing pads or loose diamond inserts. It's best to loosen the ones on the outside first. New disc on. It's self-explanatory. And here on the arm of the machine, there's a handy Allen key set, so you always have it at hand. On. The frame, there's a level, and with the wheels, I make sure it stands flat. This first version of the IVC 1000 didn't have a pass-through socket yet. That's why I now have 2 cords running to the outlet. The machine you buy does have that, so you can connect your floor crack machine directly to the vacuum cleaner. There's still more than enough diamond left on the disc, and you can still feel the diamond particles coming out of the binder. But I'm really curious myself to see what this PKD disc will do to this floor. As you can see, this PKD disc really cuts through the layers of this floor much faster. And so I'm covering more meters per minute. And this shows that it's always worth having a selection of different discs with you. And I'm sure you also noticed that a lot of material stays on the floor with this PKD disc. Those are the heavier particles. They're not airborne and therefore don't pose a threat to your respiratory system. As soon as I'm done grinding, I simply vacuum them up with a vacuum cleaner and a vacuum wand and nozzle. And with that, we've now reached the edges of the room. If I leave the guard as it is now, I'll always stay a few centimeters away from the wall. The disc just simply can't get any closer. With BYCON, you can remove part of the dust cover, and then the diamond disc really gets right up to the wall. But that makes such a big hole in the dust cover that the vacuum cleaner just can't keep up. This is going to create dust. Since I'm the only one in this room and coming in here, and I can vacuum once all the fine dust has settled to the floor, that's how I'm going to do it. And I'm wearing proper protective gear while doing this. Do you really want to get as close to the wall as possible in one go, dust-free, or with as little dust as possible? Then just use the angle grinder with a cup wheel and a good dust cover. Of course, you can use your BYCON vacuum cleaner to remove dust. I'm just going to quickly finish up the floor here, because it obviously needs to be ready for the next layers. Among other things, self-leveling compound, which I'll be pouring soon with the Dorley Flowmaster. If you want to see how this device works, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching in advance, and of course, leave your questions in the comments. Ciao!